Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new series I'm gonna try called Genesys Jank, where I take decks that have never seen any type of success and trying to make them work in the new Genesis format. And I figure what better way to start the series off than with Ashened. So, Ashened was a TCG exclusive archetype that was not good, which is kind of frustrating because they have all the cards to be good. Uh, Vidos is just a really good anti-field spell engine. Priestess searching any card, Obsidian being able to summon anything from deck when it's destroyed, is just this archetype had so much potential, but they just don't have anything really to do. Like Vidos is the only true form of interruption on your opponent's turn, and it's like a dark hole, which is okay, but not exactly game winning. But they might have some promise in Genesis because of two main reasons. First off, they are all appointed along with their generic searcher chaotic element, which all of these being pyro means chaotic element can get its bonus effect once you get 3 engrave. So because there's no points associated in the main deck, we get to play quite a bit of non-engine. I have chosen to play Fua, Nibiru, Super Poly, Ghost Bell, and two Schoolmeister. Now, the reason I'm playing Super Poly is because the field spell has this effect where it turns all of the monsters on the field during your turn to Pyro. So that's decent because Embers of the Ashen is just a generic 2 Pyros. And Vidos, if you can get the Dragon out, is also just super polyable. But in terms of the actual engines, 3 Vidos, because this is the main thing you want to see. You want to typically be popping your Obsidian. However, if you pop your opponent's field spell, that's good. 3 Priestess of the Ashen City. This is just your generic searcher. It can be specialed if you have Obsidian. 3 Queen of the Blazing Dominion. This is a TCG exclusive, I believe. You can be special summoned by popping 2 cards you control, including a face-up spell trap. And if you pop it with 2 cards, it becomes sort of a one-way dimensional fissure. It has this field where any monster sent from field to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead, which can come up. And it's also just another search target if you already have Vidos. 1 Shaman just for recycling, 1 Spearhead because it can sometimes come up, and 1 King of the Ashen City. This card's really good, only if you can get your opponent to have a monster with 2800 or more attack, because being able to special from deck is really good. Anyways, 3 Obsidian because just this is an absolutely necessary card you have to play. 3 Awakening of Vitus, which is hands down the best spell trap, apart from one major issue. So, this can take a Obsidian from your deck, and place it on either your field or your opponent's. Then, if your opponent has a field spell, you get to add a level 5 or higher Dark Pyro. So either this, or this. So, this card's crazy because you can give your opponent Obsidian, add Vidos. Vidos pop Obsidian, special summon it to their field, set this. Obsidian summon Priestess. Priestess grab anything, it can go off in a million directions. What's the one problem with this card? It does not count as an Ashened card. It has no Ashened in the name, so you cannot search it, which is such a missed opportunity. 3 Extinguishing of the Ashen, which just sends level 5, sends a Dark Pyro and then adds a level 5 Dark Pyro from grave to hand, and can be banished to fusion a Pyro monster. Typically that's just Embers of the Ashen. Chaotic Element, this is mainly seen in Testina, but it also works in Ashen because it searches Dark Pyros. 1 Inferno with 2 on the side. This is a kind of a not as good version of Awakening. It is searchable, which is nice, and it is non-destruction removal. Not a quick event speed, but yeah. Ashened for Eternity and Ashened to the Endless. This is just kind of a continuous trap you have in case you hard draw Ashened to the Endless. It realistically could be cut because this is the trap you want to be setting. This card basically fusion summons a power of fusion using monsters on either field. So you're typically using the Vitos you've given to your opponent plus one or more Pyros to go into Vitos, the Dragon of Endless Darkness, which this on summon will destroy all spell traps you control, and then Vitos effect will trigger destroying all monsters on the field. Except this card because it cannot be destroyed by card effects and cannot be targeted by monster effects. And then just standard non-engine. In the extra couple of rank 4s that could come up, decent super poly package, 3 Embers of the Ashened, which is another super poly target, depending on if you have Vitus or not. This, when it's summoned, can add a field spell from grave to hand, and has a battle trick, which is fine. Vitos on summon. The Vitos, when it's summoned, destroy spell traps your opponent controls, and when they activate a card effect, send an Ashened card from field to grave, which you can do either this trap or Ashen for Eternity is also a decent send because this has a pretty good graveyard effect to target one card and destroy it. And then in the side, just Lancia, Kaiju, spell trap removal, monsters, and 2 Inferno of the Ashened, just as like extra starters that you can play when going first for sure. Anyways, allow me to show you a game of what this deck can do. Okay, so for this game, I am going against a Madolche player, a strategy I've been seeing quite a lot of and can put up some pretty good boards. I've opened pretty well with Extinguishing, Awakening Vitos, Queen of the Blazing Dominions, and a Ghost Bell. I'm taking the lead on this one. In draw phase, we are beginning with Vitos to play around Droll, because it can still pop up. I've learned that the hard way. Go into main phase, Vitos is going to pop the field spell and set Ashen to the Extinguish. Obviously, he's going to special Priestess. Priestess is going to get Inferno. Going to go and activate Inferno to place another Obsidian. We're going to Extinguish to basically just search a King of the Ashened. King gets the special from deck here because our opponent controls a monster. Queen of the Blazing Dominion to pop 2. We banish Fuse into this. The Embers of the Ashened. We get back an Obsidian, activate Obsidian, end phase Obsidian will shuffle one back and draw us a Super Poly. Pretty good board. We have a Macrocosmos, sort of, and the board wipe setup. Our Madolche player is playing a lot, and I'm playing very cautiously here because I know I have one big point of interaction. They go for that, and I Ghost Spell. They attempt to leave the main phase, so I just destroy the board. I have a good amount of follow-up here, and they do not, so I take game 1. Okay, for the game 2 of this set, I'm going second, and I open pretty phenomenally. Super Poly, Illusion Gate, Nibiru, not bad. With a way to get Obsidian on my field, which is a one of in this sighting, and King of the Ashen. So I'm pretty happy with my opening hand. Our opponent gets to start off, and they just pretty much get to do a ton of Madolche combo. Just going through the standard Madolche lines. Now the Ember they make is pretty good. I mean, you'll see it here, but it's Field Spell, Continuous Spell, Queen Tiramisu, plus another copy of this one. But honestly, I learned a little bit more about Madolche. I attempted to go for the Nibiru, but they had a Herald, so unfortunate. They go for a Queen Tiramisu, and pass. Pretty good board. Draw another Nibiru, so that's perfect discard fodder. I go into a Garua. Now, the reason I go for King here is because Madolche Princess can be used to trigger this effect. I go Extinguishing for Vitos. And then just Illusion Gate to get something. They get to go for a couple of effects here, but they can't protect themselves from just the lethal amount of damage I have here. Okay, I have one more game. This time we are going against Satellar Knight. We got first, and our hand is really good. Going to begin activating Obsidian because that can turn on the special summon for all of our monsters. They have a Veiler, which is frustrating, but we can still play through it. We're going to go ahead and get a Vidos, popping our Field Spell. Field Spell is going to be getting King. King is going to be specialing from deck. Another Priestess. Going to go Fusion into Embers. Get back the Field Spell, and yeah, we have a Ghost in hand and a board wipe with the Fusion. So just gonna let my opponent play. Really, I want to get as many monsters on the field as possible to blow up for my opponent. I figured now's a good time to fire it. It can Stellar, but that can be Ghost Spelled. A set one and pass. Draw the trap for turn, which it isn't ideal. So I'm hoping to get into something else here. Get another Obsidian, which will let me draw a card at the end of turn. Set it, go battle phase. Swing for a good amount of damage and pass. Obsidian will draw me a card. Super Poly, really good. Now, I get to recycle a little bit by getting back the King of the Ashened City, but I just need my opponent to have a card big enough for me to get it. Opponent's just playing here. Pop the continuous spell. The Honest and get rid of the fusion. They do a little bit more stuff, but they are both pyro monsters which can be super polyed, and that Fua is the perfect discard. Get to summon King, and they just surrender. Okay, we are on game 2, and we're going second. Bit rough drawing the trap, but otherwise our hand is pretty good. We have Nibiru. If our opponent gets to summon 5 times, I get to bring it out. But unfortunately, they only go for 4. Playing safe. Discarding the Vitus, which is very frustrating because that's like the card we wanted. Go for Obsidian, which can unfortunately be ashed. But still, we have a King, and we still have a decent line of play. Obsidian can pop. Priestess gets this an extra card, and we still have the board wipe online. Extinction of the Ashen to recycle. Waiting for opponent to summon some stuff. Figure this is a pretty good pretty good chance to do it. So Obsidian clears the board. Still get to play a little bit here and go kind of far, including unfortunately destroying the back row and getting another hand rip here in a second. Really need a good top deck here. And yeah, that just isn't it. Now, I don't immediately scoop here just in the chance that they don't get enough for lethal, but they immediately get enough for lethal just by what they have for follow up. Yeah, and they just get to go in for game. Okay, here it is. Time for game 5, and we've opened Incredible 2. Vidos is a little ideal, and of course the trap again is just not needed. But overall, our hand is pretty good. Gonna go ahead and activate another Obsidian. Try Vidos, only to get ashed again. Really frustrating. But we can still go a little bit further. Now, I go for the Queen of the Blazing Dominion for the sort of defissure thing, and to trigger Obsidian. However, they have the Skullmeister to not let that happen. Overall, we have a decent board. They proceed to set 4 and pass. Draw for turn. Awakening of Vitus is good. It lets us play a bit. And I just go straight to battle phase, which immediately gets punished by the Giant Meteor Force. Should have predicted it. but I still get to play a little bit until the opponent activates Imperm. So I have to pass. Super Poly is a really good find here. They go Battle Phase, crashing over the Priestess, and honestly, I'm like a disposition. I use the trap to recycle. Notice on the Priestess, which immediately gets Solemn Warning. I can take the Vitos and attack for 28. Set 1 and pass. The opponent gets to play a little bit here, which is kind of scary, but I'm fine because I have a Super Poly, which is decent here, and a Ghost. They pass with nothing, and even though the draw's not ideal, I still walk with it because in battle phase I go Super Poly for Embers and attack for game. So that's Ashened. It's definitely an alright deck in Genesis, definitely not like top tier by any means, but definitely a fun deck that you can play around with. If you've enjoyed this, do let me know. If you want me to do other decks, leave that in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.